Hi, it's Ian here. At the start of every year, I try to set out the big themes that I'm going to be focusing on during the year and share them with the idea that hopefully they'll be useful for you in some sense. And it's been really gratifying to hear back over the years from people saying how it's inspired them and they've focused on similar themes themselves. Now, often those themes will be very practical steps. So last year I talked about the 5 S's of simplicity, speed, systems, scale and sweat. Now this year I'm going to be focusing more strategically. And I think that's something that every business needs to return to periodically as it grows. In particular, if you're in any type of service business or you sell online products, it won't have escaped your attention that industry after industry is becoming more competitive. Now, partially that's because there are more competitors out there, but more importantly, it's because our clients now have much more visibility and access to that wider range of suppliers than ever before. You know, it used to be that if you were a consultant or a lawyer, for example, then if you did a decent job, you kind of had a little local monopoly because it was just too much hard work for potential clients to search the market to find someone better. Now, these days, of course, they can just hop on the internet and find a whole host of alternative suppliers, each of them pretty good in their own right. So as a result, business after business that used to have healthy margins and premium pricing is now finding itself commoditized and under intense price pressure. It's no longer enough in your marketing to generate leads and contacts with potential clients unless you can establish a market leadership position that protects you and cushions you from price competition, something that sets you apart from the raft of good suppliers and positions you for the right clients as the one they'll be willing to pay more to work with. Now, there are many different ways you can establish market leadership, but my experience is that right now there are 3 that are especially powerful and work really well for service and information-based businesses. Now, the first market leadership strategy is thought leadership. Now, I actually thought long and hard about whether to call this strategy thought leadership or to try and come up with another name, because I think the phrase thought leadership has been so misused in the last few years that it's in danger of losing its meaning. So when I say thought leadership, I don't mean churning out the same old articles that all your competitors have on their websites too. You know the sort of 5 ways to win more clients, 7 traits of effective leaders, or endless how-to blog posts that bring no new insights and no new ideas to the party. What I mean is content that makes your potential clients go, wow, something that gives them light bulb moments, new insights and ideas, changes the way they look at things. So it's ambitious content, ideas you've actually had to work hard to come up with and that you've really thought through. Now, clearly, thought leadership like that doesn't come easy, which is why it's so valuable. Now, I'm not saying everything you write or record on video or podcast has to be earth-shattering or Nobel Prize-winning stuff, but I am saying it has to be markedly different and better to what your typical competitors are putting out. It has to make your clients step back and think, this person really knows what they're talking about, and I want to work with them. Now, there are lots of different approaches you can take to thought leadership. You can work on ideas and concepts that no one else has come up with before. So if you look at people like Seth Godin or Edward de Bono or Tom Peters, these are people you'd want to work with because of the quality of their new ideas. Or it could be you take new ideas from a different field and show people how to apply them in yours. So in the world of online marketing, Derek Halpern is well known, for example, for taking ideas from psychological research in universities and applying it to websites and online businesses. Or you can give people new tools and practical frameworks for addressing their problems. I remember the first time I saw the way Michael Masterson applied the prospect awareness framework from Gene Schwartz to specific techniques for writing sales copy, and I was absolutely entranced. And I bought the book that explained it in an instant. Or, of course, you can create content that's more in-depth. If you look at blog posts by people like Pete Laird at Conversion Excel, Brian Harris at Video Fruit, or Noah Kagan at OKDork, then rather than half-formed ideas or untested suggestions, you get in-depth, multi-thousand-word, rigorously researched and tested insights. So lots of different ways of creating thought leadership, but each of them basically sets you apart from the noise that everyone else is making and establishes you as a leader in your market. Now, in tomorrow's video, I'm going to look at the second market leadership strategy, which is relationship leadership. So I'll see you tomorrow.